Hello and welcome to Treasure in Every Verse. I'm your host, author and Bible teacher, Kevin Madison. Thank you for joining us today. Okay, friends, we're back, and we're going to continue in our series on the book of Revelation. And basically, folks, where we were, we had taken care of the church at Ephesus, and we had just started talking about the church over at Smyrna. And the first thing we did, we had on verse 8, and we actually spent the last two series just right here. I gave you essentially the history of Smyrna, which is critical to the study of the book. Also, we started talking about Jesus' identification of himself to the church. Now, these identifications to the churches, each one of them, are very specific to each church. All right. So essentially, Jesus makes a claim right here. All right. He makes a claim that he's God. Then, the next thing Jesus makes a claim right here. He says, hey, look, I died. I died. Why is that important? Because of what this church was about to face. And when we get to those details, friends, you're going to understand exactly why Jesus gave this particular word to this church. But then he didn't leave it there. He says, hey, look, I also came to life. Again, very specific. Why didn't he give that to the church at Ephesus? Why didn't he give that to the church at Pergamos, Thyatira? Folks, so when you see, again, when you're studying the book, don't walk over things as if it's just there as a placeholder to help you get to the next verse. No, they're very specific. Now, I'm going to finish reading this passage to the church, and we'll pick up on why he gave this one first and last, and why he told him he was dead and came to life. I know your works, tribulation. Okay? He says, hey, you're going to have tribulation. Some of you are going to be in poverty in this world. You're not going to have anything. Some of you. Everybody in the church? No. Because every type of church you see, all of those types of believers are alive today. So you have some believers who are rich, some believers who are in extreme poverty. And God has a specific reason for allowing those things, friends. It's not a mistake. Nothing is a mistake with God. But you are rich. Every single believer, if you were rich in this world, you are poor. Because your riches mean absolutely nothing in this world. You're going to lose it. But we are all rich because we possess that which Christ possessed. And I know the blasphemy of those who say they are Jews and are not. Jews and are not? Either they are Jews or they're not Jews. Which one is it, Jesus? But are a synagogue of Satan. Do not fear any of those things. And this is where you can clearly see now, Jesus points out to them the tribulation that's coming their way. Jesus now points out the cause of the poverty that's coming their way. All right? Look at what he tells them. He says, hey, don't fear any of those things which you are. You are about to suffer. Now, please, listen to me carefully. Jesus is telling this to believers. These are not believers who are out there sinning and defaming God, blaspheming his name because of the way they're living. No, friend. These people are facing tribulation because they were faithful. They are having poverty, their land confiscated, everything taken from them because they were being faithful. So Jesus says, hey, you're about to suffer some things. You are about to suffer. What would happen, folks? Let's make this personal. If God gave this to us today, most people today, you know what they would do? They would get on their knees, including Kevin. God, take this away. And they would fully be expecting God to take that away. Can I ask you a question? Would God answer that prayer? The answer to that is yes. Would he answer it the way most people would want him to answer it? No, of course not. And you can name it and claim it all you want. But God told them, you are going to go through this. And there are people alive today who are faithful to the call of Christ. Faithful to the cause of Christ. They're doing everything God has commanded them to do to the best of their ability. And you know what's happening to them right now? They're suffering. And they're crying out every single day. Why, Lord? When are you going to deliver me? Indeed, the devil is about to throw some of you into prison. But wait a minute. Wait. I'm being faithful. How in the world can the devil throw me into prison? Number one, how did the devil throw me anywhere? And what prison do the devil have that he can actually put me in it? That you may be what? Tested. Oh Lord, can't you think of a different way of testing me? And you will have. Is there any possibility, according to the scripture, and this is God talking, that they won't have tribulation 10 days? No. Can they pray it away? No. Can they fast it away? No. No. This is a plan. It's not a mistake. God is doing this for his own purpose, to accomplish his own will, for the glory of his great name. I know, friends, that's difficult. That is extremely hard. I know that. Would I want to go through this? Of course not. No. But I know this. I'm not about to quote you that verse that God won't put more on you than you can bear. Hey man, some people died. They were martyred. Can he put any more on them than martyrdom? Of course not. They died, friends. This 10 days, listen to the next verse. What's going to happen to these people? This tribulation that led to their poverty, this casting them into prison. For what purpose were they cast into prison? So that they can be tested. And that test is going to last 10 days. Now, the 10 days is not what you think. It's not that they were going to be incarcerated for 10 days. There's a deeper meaning behind the days. They're not days at all. Okay, I'm going to show you what it is, so hang on. But listen to what happens what kind of suffering are they going to face. They're going to get thrown into prison. It's going to last 10 days. Be faithful unto death. And what kind of suffering was the Lord telling them that they were about to face? They were going to die. Satan was going to cast them into prison for the sole purpose of killing them. God was warning them that it was coming. And look what he says. Be faithful, and I will give you what? Life. What kind of crown can you give somebody who dies? Jesus said, I was dead. What kind of crown did my Father give to me? Life. So what kind of crown are we going to share with Jesus? Life. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. He who overcomes shall not be hurt by the second death. Now, you understand what's going on here? Why Jesus told them about being dead and coming to life? Without even us going through this and explaining it. Why he's the first and the last? Because only God can do this. Only God can raise the dead. So the first and the last identified him as God. The dead, being dead and coming to life, identifies with their suffering and his ability to raise them from the dead because he raised himself from the dead. So it was a great encouragement. Friends, you have God versus the devil. You have life versus death. Great, great encouragement for the church. So if God ever put us in that position, we can be assured of one thing, that if we die physically for Christ, we will be raised from the dead. Fear not. Him who can kill your body can't kill your soul. Only fear the one who can kill both body and soul by casting you into hell. And that's what that second death is. All right.